Thank you all for coming to this news conference. Joining me this morning are Lincoln Police Department Assistant Chief Brian Jackson and Lincoln Emergency Communications Center Manager Jessica Luce. And as we all work together to deliver on our city's top priority of keeping our community members safe, we are also committed to embracing innovations that enhance our ability to enhance the ability of our first responders to deliver critical care and support. And so we're here this morning to announce a new cutting-edge technology that helps us do just that. This cutting-edge technology is called Prepared Live, and it's designed to enhance emergency response, which removes communication barriers through technology. It does so by providing community members with the ability to assist emergency responders with a clearer picture of urgent situations. This clearer picture can lead to more efficient, effective, and safer responses, which is good for those who have called 911 and is also very good for the police and fire personnel who respond to that 911 call. By bringing more context and clarity to potential emergency situations, we enhance the safety of our first responders, who will now arrive to an incident with even greater situational awareness. I'm incredibly proud of the work of LPD and Emergency Communication Center teams, and I really want you all to have the details of their incredible work and leadership on this project. Assistant Police Chief Brian Jackson, would you like to share more details about Prepared Live and how it's affecting the mission of your work?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. And good morning. Lincoln's Emergency Communication Center is often the first point of contact for the public when reporting an incident or requesting a police or fire response. Our professional staff of trained telecommunicators answer hundreds of thousands of calls each year from our community partners in our mutual effort of keeping Lincoln safe. Lincoln is a community of many diverse languages and cultures. Obtaining the best possible information from callers and sharing it with our officers and fire personnel in the field efficiently and effectively can have an impact on the overall success of our mission. Prepared Live can assist with this communication by eliminating language barriers so that the message received is the message intended by the citizen. Managing and reducing possible miscommunication in the chain of events from reporting to arrival reduces the chance of error for our first responders. It is often said a picture is worth 1,000 words. With Prepared Live, the capability exists for community members to upload images or stream video that can help to identify the scene before the first responder even arrives. The potential ability to see what is occurring before our arrival provides significant safety benefits to the first responder and can facilitate decision-making in advance of being on scene. Technology plays a part in all of our lives. Prepared Live is one of many technology programs our agency uses to provide the best possible service to our community.
All right. Thank you. Our emergency dispatchers at the Lincoln Emergency Communication Center have already begun to implement Prepared Live into their operations. And here to talk more about this, the features of this product and the benefits that dispatchers are experiencing in 911 emergency communications is Jessica Luce. Jessica?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Assistant Chief Jackson. Take a moment and imagine these scenarios. A woman who does not speak English is experiencing domestic violence and fears that remaining on the line with 911 and an interpreter will further aggravate her spouse. A motorist observes a building on fire and can't find the words to describe the unusual color of smoke and flames. A college student breaks his leg on a backcountry hike and his friend is unable to relay their exact location to an emergency dispatcher. A member of our deaf and hard of hearing community has an allergic reaction after consuming raw nuts. They call 911, but the line is silent. Now take a moment to imagine yourself in these moments when seconds matter and your safety, your life, is dependent on access to emergency services. These are moments that members in our community and communities around the country have trusted in placing their call to 911. We are grateful for that trust, but are cognizant that barriers existed in preventing communication to receive not only the right emergency response, but a timely emergency response. Prepared Live enables our 911 professionals to collaborate with our community members and partners simultaneously in any emergency, removing those information barriers that once existed with the permission of our callers. Prepared Live is a cloud-based software that allows Lincoln's 911 professional to deploy resources more effectively and efficiently in response to the call information received. Prepared Live enables 911 telecommunicators to initiate live stream video with on-scene callers and better connect with community members by translating in more than 140 languages and providing access to deaf and hard of hearing residents. These capabilities assist the telecommunicator in gaining valuable information when seconds matter. 911 telecommunicators can send live video, photos, GPS locations, and text to responders' mobile computers, providing them with additional details that ensure the safety of responding units and allow responders to assess a scene before they arrive. Prepared Live does not interfere with the call itself, but allows for telecommunicators and responders to make informed decisions regarding the level of response and the need for additional units to respond to the incident. This is accomplished through collaboration with our callers in utilizing their cellular devices to gather information, allowing for immediate eyes on scene. The Lincoln's Emergency Communication Center has received 7,753 abandoned 911 calls so far in 2023 alone. While Prepared Live provides a lifeline in emergency situations, we also recognize the value it brings to our communities as we consider its additional capabilities. Prepared Live allows the telecommunicator to respond to those that have dialed for emergency services and didn't connect, confirming services are needed or not through texting. The 911 telecommunicators of the Lincoln Emergency Communication Center rely on information shared when we answer the call. The timeliness and clarity of that communication is a priority in providing emergency services. We are proud to be a prepared emergency communication center, building upon our capabilities in serving Lincoln and Lancaster County with professionalism and compassion. Thank you to Lincoln and the surrounding communities for your partnership.
Well, and thank you for your leadership, Jessica, and thank you to the entire team of our dedicated dispatchers at the Emergency Communications Center for their vital work to keep our communities safe and healthy and for pursuing innovations like this that are going to help us all do better. The preparedness and professionalism of our public safety personnel help make our community one of the safest in the nation. And with Prepared Live, we equip our first responders and our community members with a tool that will deliver an even more accessible, inclusive, efficient, and robust public safety response. With that, we'd love to open this up for questions from the media. We're really excited about this program and want to share all the details.
Do residents have to have an app downloaded, or how do they connect with this system?
There is no app that needs to be downloaded, and that's really the fantastic part about it. It's a tool that the telecommunicator has at their fingertips when it's necessary. So it's not a tool that's utilized for every call, but it's there when it's needed to respond for a call. The community member receives a text notification from the telecommunicator in which they convey at the time of the call that they're sending. And we really do have to collaborate with that individual that has called us to accept that Prepared Live technology and that partnership at the time. In accepting that notification on their phone, we then have the opportunity to work with them to determine their location via GPS. If there's an incident where we could gather critical information about the scene, we have access to the cameras on their phones just at the time of the incident, again, working with that citizen.
So they have to consent to over text to be able to get video, okay.
Have you all been able to do any testing yet on this rollout to see if it's worked so far?
The implementation of Prepared Live in our center actually happened a while ago. We have been utilizing the technologies in our center for approximately 2 months-ish time frame.
I know you guys are switching, I guess, service providers for the 911 system overall, I think, to Lumen later this year. Is this unrelated to all that?
This is unrelated. This is a standalone technology that does not impact the call itself. The technology that we are transitioning to, which is the ESINet at the end of the year, that is a connection made through next-gen 911 technologies.
With the outages that we saw earlier this month for 911, would this help in a situation like that or help first responders?
Thank you for that question. With the outage that was the outages, there was a couple of them that happened in Nebraska. a few weeks prior. Although Prepared isn't a technology that we relied upon to communicate with our community and ensure that they had access to emergency services, Prepared and technologies like Rapid SOS really did allow for us to complete that verification process to verify that we did not lose any 911 opportunities with the citizens of Lincoln and the surrounding communities.
How much did it cost to put in there, and how many other communities have this?
There are a number of communities across the country. As far as Nebraska, we are the largest community to partner with Prepared Live. The cost for our agency in total was $49,800, $10,000 of that being for translation services.
And is this an ongoing fee that'll have to be paid, or?
This is an annual contract that we have with them.
Contract? And how, are we just paying out through general budget, or are we using other other types of funding to pay for this?
Translation services are tied directly to our phone lines. So while some of it is budgetary, some of it is our state funding that comes associated with our lines.
And Chief, I mean, you've had it for 2 months. Can you, without going into too much detail, I mean, can you say how this has helped you guys, in real life situations already?
Well, as I indicated, our communication center and the city of Lincoln in general is very highly dependent on technology. And this is just one more technology that assists us in doing our job every day. Again, one of the critical components is when somebody calls in, we have to understand what they need, and the ability to clearly and effectively obtain that information, and then it gets shared out to officers responding to the scene adds a large component to the officer safety aspect of responding to any call. Additionally, as images, videos are streamed and shared, it gives us a picture of what can be occurring at the scene prior to arrival that can help determine approaches, can help determine other needed first responder equipment that may be needed at the scene, either for police or fire, provides a significant benefit over what we currently see today. So it is money well spent.
I mean, have you had incidences where you actually use that, in incidences that have happened in the last 2 months?
The translation services, absolutely. The streaming and data information is ongoing. It has been implemented, and we're implementing it in stages, and as our licensing and other equipment advances, we're able to do that much more easily. So.
And as far as the reliability that you guys have on this particular thing, you said it's cloud-based, why is that? Well, how is that different? I guess you specifically mentioned it was cloud-based as opposed to what other kind of based, and what's the advantage of being cloud-based? I'm technically illiterate.
Fine. The great thing about a cloud-based technology is our telecommunicators have access to Prepared Live regardless of the console that they're signed into. So whether they're transitioning from our primary site, a backup site, or serving our other first responding partners out in the field, they do have access to Prepared Live with no issue. If we experience outages such as was experienced over the past couple weeks on the legacy 911 system, this is in no way tied to that, and again can be reached from the cloud at any time.
You mentioned that this could help deaf or hard of hearing people communicate with 911 dispatchers. I guess how exactly would that work?
So as we were assessing this technology, we actually collaborated with our deaf and hard of hearing communities members in the city of Lincoln, and they were a big part of the discussion. They find that there's challenges, and again, this is what was communicated to me, there's challenges in being able to accurately describe what's happening on scene in a moment's notice, utilizing the technologies they had at their fingertips today. This automatically opens a window of what's happening right now without any delay to the 911 telecommunicator when they're experiencing an issue. The biggest of those issues, quite honestly, that they shared and their biggest fear, medical situations. Historically, on a landline, if you called 911 and nobody was on the other end, it was really easy for us to pretty accurately know where you were at and send responders. With cell phone technology, that's not always the case. So this really does allow us to have a window into what's happening at the time, and at least through images, share with that community member what they're or I guess to take from them what their needs are at the time.
When they give you, I guess, when they click whatever they have to
Yeah.
consent, what kind of information or access do you guys get? Is it just their camera and their location, or how broad is it?
It is just what is being shared in that transaction at the time. We are not accessing any other parts of an individual's phone.
Is it just smartphones, or can you use other devices for this?
Smartphones is what we have at the time, unless you are utilizing, I'm going to throw Apple for an example out there. If you're using a MacBook or something for your texting services at the time, absolutely we could, if you have the access to the internet, to cloud-based, we can complete a transaction with you over Prepared Live.
How confidential is the information shared? If there was an overdose call that for some reason needed to use this service, I mean, are police and prosecutors going to use the information provided to prosecute people?
As a 911 communication center, we absolutely follow all retention rules and public information rules as we do now. This technology is no different.
Mayor, on the follow-up question to the outage that happened here, you know, how involved is your office in, I guess, monitoring this investigation or taking part in this investigation? And what kind of questions do you want answered, I guess?
Well, of course, we have a vested interest because public safety is our top priority, and I have just supreme confidence in our public safety department leadership. When I was on the phone that weekend saying, hey, what's the latest? How close are we to getting power restored? They had answers to the questions. They were able to tell me that no calls have been dropped. So like in the moment, we had a lot of confidence that we were still protecting our community and protecting it in a very timely way. So that was excellent news for Lincoln. And then, because this is a statewide issue, we will be monitoring. We will be, looking to see how this could potentially impact us going forward, but we are on the case. Do you have anything you want to add on that?
I can.
Sure.
Definitely echo what the mayor has said, and I do know that the state is investigating currently what happened in both of those scenarios and is very responsive with their responsibility for the 911 communities in the state of Nebraska.
And you guys issued the text alert right away. Even though I think they said, Windstream said that they actually didn't have an outage in Lincoln. But I guess what went into that process of going to that text alert so that people were getting alternate methods to contact you guys?
In that text message, and if you read through that text message, the intent of that was, should we experience an outage, we wanted our community members to be prepared in how to communicate with the 911 center if they were to experience an emergency or felt unsafe at any time. That's not information that we want to share after an event, if we can at all help it, but really arm and prepare our citizens to know that they can be taken care of regardless of that outage or not. So it was very proactive on the part of our department, and again with the support of the city and knowing that information is key to get out there.
Do you think that's why you didn't have any drop calls, or you know what I mean? I guess
My honest answer on knowing that we didn't have any dropped calls is really our 911 telecommunicators. I am incredibly fortunate to work alongside some of the best 911 professionals in the industry. Your 911 telecommunicators throughout that event kept up rapid SOS. We were prepared with cell phones to call back community members should we not have had our current telephone equipment in place operate. We were also very prepared with our IT team who came down and put desktop phones in place. Again, a very proactive team, and it was because of their foresight and dedication to their roles that Lincoln can definitely be confident that no calls were missed.
All right, we've got time for one more question.
I know you guys haven't, rolled this out fully, but do you know, what percentage of calls you expect to use the Prepared Live on? Is it going to be used, often, or do you have any ballpark percentage?
I don't have a specific percentage for you, and reason being is that, again, it's a tool. So I think as our community members become more comfortable with the technology and our telecommunicators continue to identify more and more opportunities to use this as a tool with our community members, we will see an increase in percentage of it being used. But again, we're using it responsibly and when it's needed.
Well, thank you again so much for joining us for this important news announcement on this leading edge innovation being used by LPD and Emergency Communications Center. We're really pleased to offer this next tool in the toolbox to keep our community members safe and our first responders safe. Thank you so much for coming.